Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting a like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Papa Bear Piano and says, "Am I the arsehole here for kicking my parents out and saying, this is why I was so fucked up as a kid. Throwaway and on phone. Had my parents over for dinner this weekend, 60s, and after my daughter 10 asked if she could play us a song she'd been practicing on her keyboard, she gets lessons. It wasn't perfect, few missed notes, a couple of pauses, but she did really well. She looked up at the end, massive smile, and I started clapping. My parents started fucking laughing. Not just a chuckle, a massive fucking belly laugh. Them both. My mum asked if it was her first time playing it. My dad said it had to have been. A dog could have played that better. It was like my daughter was shrinking on the spot and she looked down and said, no, I've had 2 lessons, but doing it with 2 hands is hard. And they just laughed even fucking harder. I just stood up, took their cups and said, leave, now. My mum tried to say about how they hadn't finished their drinks. They wanted to hear another song, etc. And said, get your stuff and get the fuck out of my house right now. My dad started doing this huffing thing he does when someone dares speak up to him, and my mum said that there was no need to be like this, that I can't protect her all the time and she's preparing my daughter for the real world. I said it's not teaching the real world. They're just nasty little bullies picking on children, and shit like this is why I was so fucked up as a kid. Now leave. They got their stuff and left. I sat with my daughter and explained how proud of her I was and how well she was doing. To ignore them. They were just being cruel because they don't know any other way to be, and asked if she could please play it again, which she did. On the Sunday, I messaged and said that until they can behave like decent human beings, that we're taking a break away from them. My dad replied that it was my choice, but he didn't realize he raised me to be so precious. Now my lovely, brown-nosing golden child of a sister is getting involved. She phoned me today with my parents' version of events, telling me I was being a nasty piece of work and should never speak to my parents that way. That I'm wrapping my children in cotton wool and blah blah blah. I just told her to go fuck herself and hung up. I'm not asking if I'm on the wrong for standing up for my daughter. I'll always do that. But I did go pretty 0 to 100. I kicked them out straight away. I swore at them and in front of my daughter. I did raise my voice at the end when I said leave. I was and still am angry. I don't think I'd even accept an apology from them at this point. This behavior isn't new. It's decades old. But this is the first time it affected my daughter. Did I go too far? React too much? Should I have tried to be calmer? Talk it out? I don't know. Am I the arsehole here? Edit, lots of people think I'm a mum. Lol. Nope. Single dad. Also, thank you for all the comments. Def calming the anger I felt and making me feel less shit for the way I reacted. Edit 2. I really appreciate all the comments, even the ones calling me Mama Bear. I never doubted I was in the right for standing up for my daughter. Just how I went about it. I'm gonna sit and talk with my daughter about it all either tomorrow after school or on the weekend. My parents and sister can just disappear for all I care right now. To all the comments that said that they wish they had someone like me when they were younger. I get it, man, I really do. Hope you got someone now or able to be that someone. Reading all these comments definitely changed my anger into sadness and realization that I'm not alone with the shitty parents. Thanks for sharing and thanks for the comments guys, even the trolls, you were great. Edit 3, really appreciate all the comments and DMs, but my phone's going a bit mad with it all, so I'm going to delete the account. I'm going to keep the post up though because people have posted a bunch of links I'd like to look into this weekend. Thanks all. Ugh, I absolutely hate it when people use that kind of defense. Oh, I'm just preparing them for the real world. When in reality, the real world should be your grandparents boosting your achievements. Not mocking them, not laughing at you. That's just straight up cruel. And I think the majority of people would have a 0 to 100 reaction in this kind of situation when their 10-year-old child is being mocked like that. And I think his daughter will remember that her dad stood up for her way more than the actual swearing, which OP was always also worried about. And As for the sister, she can swivel as well. I mean, nasty piece of work, what, for protecting his child from emotional abuse? And I really loved the fact that after this happened, Opie went back to his daughter and said, can you play it again? You know, giving her that boost once again, boosting her confidence. But Opie also said there's a bit of history of this kind of behavior, because he said about, it's in the title, this is why I was fucked up as a kid, and it just makes me think, is there a future with these people? I mean, they're willing to go this low to your daughter. Is that attitude going to change? Because it seems like it's been all your life by the sounds of it. Question there, right? Commenter says, I'm so sorry you were raised by those people, yet have not normalized their behavior. Not the arsehole. Opie says, the way they were and how it affected me is why I will never ever normalize it. I stopped doing so many things out of shame I should have never felt. My daughter will not be the same. Another commenter says, didn't stop you from exposing your own child to it though, did it? Stop being a shitty parent and don't allow them anywhere near your child again. Opie says they never treated my daughter like they did me before that weekend. I would never have allowed it. And the moment they did, I stopped it. I wasn't asking if I was wrong for stopping it, just how I went about doing so. Another commenter says, in quotes, I said it's not teaching the real world, they're just nasty little bullies picking on children and shit like this is why I was so fucked up as a kid, now leave. And then says, unless this was a lie, you knew who they were. Stop being a shitty parent and take responsibility for your own actions. Opie says yes, to me, but never my sister, never my nieces, never my daughter. I put it down to being a boy in a family that wanted girls, and I had a girl. A beautiful, clever, amazing girl. How would I ever think they would act like this? Commenter says, not the arsehole, you are correct. They are just nasty little bullies picking on children. What normal human would belittle a child's attempts to perform for them? I know 3 people who never need to darken your door again. Opie says, it was how they always were. Anything I did growing up was picked at or laughed at. I couldn't let my daughter feel how I did. Someone says, were Opie's parents that way with his sister? Opie says, fuck no. She could never do anything wrong, and even getting her D's was worth applause in their eyes. Not much has changed. She's still Little Miss Perfect to them. Commenter says, not the arsehole. You're a goddamn hero. If your parents think that's an acceptable way to talk to a child, they had it coming. Bullies always whine when the tables are turned. At most, you might want to talk to your daughter about how they've always been like this, and a confrontation was bound to happen. She may blame herself or wonder if you'll yell at her like that someday. Knowing there's a history would help her understand. At 10, she'll have encountered bullies already, but may not know they don't change when they grow up. Opie says thanks for your comment. Didn't think of that. Definitely don't want my daughter thinking I'll ever react that way at her. Another commenter says, not the arsehole, if you still want a relationship with your sister, you might consider telling her what really happened. By her reaction, you will know if she's someone to keep in your life or not. Since you mentioned she only got your parents' version. Opie says, even if she had my version, I doubt she'd change her mind. I can already hear well, your daughter should practice more. She's like a mini mum. Opie responds to a comment about his musical background. Opie says, I joined the choir as a preteen. My parents supported it and came to my first show. And they laughed at how my mouth moved and how my face was while I sang. Showed videos and pictures to my family so they could laugh too. I quit, not long after parents burning the passion. It fucking hurt. I'm so happy for you being able to find it again. Thank you for your comment. Commenter says, in quotes, my parents started fucking laughing. And the commenter says, not the arsehole. What massive see you next Tuesdays. I'm shocked you kept them in your life if treating people with this level of derision is commonplace for them. Opie says, they haven't been like this since I hit around 20. Not supportive, but not mocking or mean, you know. And never anything against my daughter. I would never have let them around her otherwise. So Opie came in with an update 11 months later and says, saw my post on Bored Panda on Facebook, gave it a Google and goddamn it went everywhere. So putting out an update. This was the original and shares a link. You can believe it's me or not, but this is the update. We got contact with parents and sister. Parents kept messaging that I was being overprotective. Didn't know how to raise a child. I should look at how well I've grown with how they raised me. Sister still thought I'm committing some massive crime by talking to my parents that way, not agreeing with them, etc. Been about 9 months since last messages. they've been blocked, and any fan that messages about them has warning if they continue, they'll be blocked. By Nan and Uncle Steve. Got my daughter a piano second-hand off Gumtree. Dear fuck, are they expensive. Just over 5k for a small Yamaha. Then almost 1.5k to bring it up to scratch. Keys and wires, and another £130 to tune it. Pianos are expensive. Probably ripped off, I don't know. She gives it up. I might actually cry. Lol. She's 11 now, has lessons twice a week, which also make my bank cry. But to be honest, I think she might be the next Mozart. Only piano person I can think of. She practices all the time. I have a partner now, and he's equally as supportive as me. She always grins at the applause at the end of her shows, fortnightly to monthly. Thanks for all the previous love, supportive comments, and pointing in the right direction. Sorry for all the wasted awards. Don't put any on this, it's another throwaway. I'm beyond proud of my daughter. She understands why we don't see them anymore, and she seems okay with it. She's brilliant. Thanks again. Mama Bear. Lol. Edit to add. Reread the post and just want to add that I did talk to my daughter. Have multiple times since. My parents were pretty involved in our lives, so their absence hit her pretty hard at the start. I explained in kid terms the shit I went through. What they said and how they were wrong and shouldn't have. How I won't allow it with her. I also apologized for getting angry around her and swearing, and she did get upset and said I scared her, which made me feel fucking awful. She seems to understand none of it was aimed at her, was for her. She isn't scared of me or anything, it was just an in-the-moment thing. I don't shout or swear around her normally. She gets that I love her, I'm in her corner, and always will be. Second edit. Suggested to add that the Mama Bear sign-off was because so many people assumed I was a mother the last post. Was a father then, still now. Was just trying to be funny. It didn't seem to land. Also, Mozart is correct in the spelling, my bad. Final edit, thank you for your comments. I appreciate them genuinely. Hope you are having someone in your corner, and thanks for being in mine. People who doubt if I'm the same or karma farming, I don't care about karma. Not gonna reply anymore. Gonna either delete if I remember the password or just leave this account tomorrow. But I appreciate the comments and hope you were happy with the update. Someone said to OP, pianos are an investment. Also still not the arsehole. Gotta wear shades, your spine is shining so bright. OP says, a bank breaking investment, lol. But I don't regret it. It's newly plated, lol. Thanks. Another commenter says, I read the original. She played a 2-hand piece after 2 lessons. Wow. My mum was a classical piano teacher. Still have a grand piano, and I played from 16 to 14. Your parents were bullies, not helping her with the real world. Much better ways to react. Mistakes happen. I don't know why 2 lessons a week though. Is it because she wants that? Best to you and your family. Chosen family, and those that aren't like parents and sister. Not the arsehole back then, and now. Opie says we brought some books that had stickers for her to practice with. And she spent a lot of time on YouTube, so a lot was self-learning. I wasn't able to financially help her the way I wanted when I posted, so I couldn't get a lot of lessons or the keyboard and piano she wanted. I'm in a better position now. Is 2 not a lot? She's asked for more, but she does Tuesday and Friday hour lessons. Should she have more? Commenter says, thanks for the update. I remember being absolutely shocked at the original post. In a weird way, your parents do have a point that they raised you right. If you're in a position to be such a badass standing up for your daughter and tell them to fuck right off, they didn't raise you well and obviously they're arseholes. But somehow you sure turned out alright. Not the arsehole. Opie says they didn't raise me this way. I went against their raising to be this way. Only over the last few years I've seen things and read things about generational trauma. Doubled my strength into not having it hit my daughter. It's why I regretted the shouting and swearing so much. I'm not who I am because of them. I'm who I am despite them. Commenter says, have you been to therapy for your PTSD? Because there is no way this was the only thing over the last 10 years as a single dad. I assume your parents did a million little things to your daughter, probably called her ugly and dumb hundreds of times before this. Hope you replies one more time saying, only thing said against my kid. They have never made a negative comment to her and I would never allow it. They don't have her solo either. In their words, we've had our kids, we're done with it now. If they had ever said that to her, my reaction would have been the same a year ago. My daughter is beautiful, amazing, clever. She works so hard, tries so much. She's amazing and I will never, and have never let anyone speak to her that way. Ugh, those parents, man. Imagine the mindset of going through life that way, thinking that's an acceptable way to behave. Clearly they've treated Opie like shit through their childhood and as they got older as well. But to sit there, the image of sitting there, seeing the situation, these two sat on a couch with their drinks while this 10-year-old, this innocent 10-year-old is playing piano, makes a few little mistakes here and there, and they just fucking take the piss. I really can't blame Opie for their reaction at all, and the fact that they went away, they've clearly thought about what happened and still message you that, you know, you're being overprotective. Yeah, F those people, but what do you guys make of this situation? How would you have dealt with that if it was you? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Dan Sark from the Apartment Living subreddit, just titled The Basket Neighbors. Is this loud or am I a baby? These neighbors are pretty loud. They have lead feet. They bang on stuff a lot for whatever reason, and they are up late into the night stomping. They vacuum 3 times a day, and I wish that was an exaggeration. Sometimes at 11 p.m. I have 3 kids who go to sleep at 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. and they have all sound machines on full blast, and sometimes it's still not enough. It's been months of this, and I've never said anything, but it just gets me sometimes. As we speak, they are banging something so hard that the chair I'm sitting in is shaking. Thoughts? Opie adds a video within the post, and just an explanation, they are loud. BHN says, that's loud. Separate reply saying very loud actually. Watch the video first. I thought that was from the kids. As soon as I read the post I was like, that is very loud if it's from the neighbors. Another commenter says, that would send me into the next dimension. Opie says there's been times I fantasize about throwing a brick through my ceiling. Commenter says, sounds like a baby is up there, jumping in their jumper. If I were you, I'd write a quick, kind note asking if they could put a pad underneath. Opie says no kids. Commenter says that's loud enough that it sounds like they're in the same room with you. Opie says when they first moved in, we kept getting jump scared thinking there was someone in our apartment. Commenter says yeah, that's deliberate, which leads me to believe that they can hear you all the time and probably have recordings of your kids being loud and are equally annoyed. I don't condone or excuse their behavior, but one of you needs to go to management, just so everything can come out in the open and hopefully reach some sort of stasis. Opie says, I would doubt that. My kids are overall very mild and calm kids compared to most, but even when they do get wild, we stay on them about not stomping, not running, because even though we are technically ground level, there's another unit under us around the back of our building, and screaming. We try very hard to keep them quiet. I'm on them so much I start to feel like a tyrant. Someone says, what time was it? And Opie said this was 7:30 p.m. Understand to most that might be a reasonable time to make noise, though my kids go to sleep around then, and I can maybe understand that I especially can't handle the vacuuming and stomping late into the night like 11 p.m, 12 a.m. So OPE added a picture later on in the post, and basically what it is, it's a lovely little basket with a warm cider and cinnamon candle, a bottle of wine, a card in it that looks like, and also some dark chocolates as well. And OP says in the update, I left them this basket with this message. Hello, we wanted to drop off this basket as a little hello from downstairs. I also wanted to kindly mention something. The sound from your apartment carries more than you might realize, especially in the late evenings into the night. With our little ones going to bed early, it can be a bit tough when there's a lot of loud movement or vacuuming late at night. We also want to apologize if any of our noise ever disrupts you. We understand the kids may be a bit wild at times, and we try to be mindful. We completely understand that everyone has their own routine, and we don't expect you to change your lifestyle for us. But anything you can do to keep things a bit quieter in the late evenings into the night would mean a lot. Thank you so much. Your neighbors. Opie then says it may be to no avail, but it's worth a shot. Hopefully they're decent people. I'll update if they respond or anything. Thanks for everyone's input. Commenter says, you know it's hard to take that poorly when you drop off a basket of goodies. Good call. Opie says, I'm hoping that's the case. I just don't want any bad blood with my neighbors. Commenter says, I will not be giving my neighbors anything. If anything, I'll be going to the management office about it. Because a nice gift isn't going to guarantee that they're going to listen to you. Sometimes people don't even know they're being loud. Opie says, I don't expect most people would. I'm in a position where it's not a huge undertaking for me, and the up to $50 is worth the chance of being able to resolve this issue in a kind and thoughtful way. Commenter says, they'll finish the bottle, then bang it numerous times on the floor to thank you. Then maybe play soccer with a basket while wearing wooden clogs. Opie says, I told my kids we were buying a basket for the upstairs neighbors, and my son said, so they can bang on it. Commenter says, do they vacuum every day? Opie says 3 times a day. Just them manually. I had a Roomba, and they go kinda slow. So I can tell this is a human pushing a vacuum back and forth fast. Opie had a mini update and says, she came home from work, vacuumed once, and they were damn near silent the rest of the night. They've truly never been so quiet. I think they must have taken kindly to the gesture. Time will tell. 18 hours later, Opie comes in again and said, update on the basket neighbors. I'm so grateful for this positive response. She walked by our apartment earlier right as my husband and kids were walking in, and she let our kids say hi to our dog. My husband said it seems like she may be wanting to speak to me, but I missed it. Later, I saw this. I also definitely noticed a substantial decrease in the noise in the past 2 days. Kindness wins this time. If there's any more updates, I'm not going to make a post. I'll likely leave them in the replies of this post. Thank you guys. Opie adds an image, which was a return gift from the neighbor, a basket with chocolate, a card, and the bottle of wine, which I think was returned, and it said, we appreciate the thoughtful gift, but we do not drink. We figured you might enjoy it more than we do. Adds a smiley and says thanks again. Then Opie adds another image with the card and several, I can never pronounce this correctly, Chick-fil-A? The card said, hello, we're sorry for all the vacuuming and any other noises. My 2 cats love making a mess with cat litter around the whole place, which means I clean a lot more often than I want to. We are sincerely sorry and definitely will work on being quieter. Also, I just wanted to say thank you for the adorable fall basket and for being so patient with us. Hopefully you'll like Chick-fil-A with a little chicken drawn in the sea. A commenter says to OP after this, they were downvoted by the way, they said, even if you don't drink, keep the wine, it's not that serious. Opie says, it's okay, I appreciated it. I'll probably have a glass with my husband. Commenter says, what if they laced with Molly water and this is part of their plan and you and your husband are listening to EDM at 3 AM tonight and they get you evicted? Opie says, if that be my fate, so be it. I can imagine worse things. Commenter says, I hope Opie sends up a new basket in a few weeks just for fun. Opie says, this basket is smaller than mine was, so I'm considering sending an even smaller one. Another commenter who was downvoted saying, if this isn't fiction, since in this day and age the outcome of this is less likely than the neighbor turning out to be Batman and Robin in real life, that's kind of insane. That's just not how people work, especially obnoxious loud people. They should have seen the gift as a victory and made the problem worse. What the hell? Opie says, I can assure you this is my real life. Also, I'm from a smallish town in the south, and my experience in the place I live is people are usually pretty polite unless you give them a reason not to be. You definitely encounter the unwarranted arsehole here and there, but they're not all that common, honestly. All I could picture at the end of this, especially when, the neighbor mentioned the cats were part of the issue, I just pictured, I don't know what the cat was, there was no pet tax unfortunately, but in my mind I just pictured this apartment and in the corner there's a shelf with this black cat on it with its claw on its chin, going bloody sassy cats. But it's nice to see something like this resolved in this kind of way. There were some comments that absolutely wild on it. Just not sure if they like seeing a happy ending, but all's well that ends well. But what do you guys make of this situation? Have you ever had apartment living? Did you have any nightmare neighbors? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me, so thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.